don't you guys maybe sit over there?
Okay.
Thanks, Fire Chief, appreciate you coming.
Hi.
Thanks, Lisa, thanks again for coming. It's been about 3 years, I don't know how long it's
Yeah,
been.
it's been a little bit.
Yeah, so I appreciate you coming. Are you guys going to want to tour the plant afterwards or not necessarily? I'm not sure how familiar you are with it.
I have before, so I'm like.
That's kind of what, I thought that might have been the case.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make that offering to you if you guys wanted to,
Appreciate
so.
that.
So we're gonna start here. Who are we missing, Rob?
He's coming.
Okay. I kind of show you the, I'm just gonna have you guys come up and talk. I'm trying to throw a lot into an hour, okay? And so, if you guys can come talk for maybe max 5 minutes, kind of tell us about yourself, what you do, and then we're gonna do a notification exercise. I'll present a spill scenario, do a notification exercise, and Caleb is gonna be our incident commander who's gonna be calling, and then we're gonna talk about a spill response. And it's all gonna be kind of more on paper versus on the slide, except I do have the numbers up there once I get this done. So is everybody here now? Stefan's not here because he's had another engagement, so. Let me see if I can get this up and we'll start going. Actually, if you guys want to start right now, oh, here, wait a second. No, don't go up yet. I gotta, see if I can do this now. It's gonna get me back from the beginning, yep. So give me a second to get to where I need to be. I'm getting closer. We just did, we got some guys dressed up in level B and we set up a mock decon, assuming a big spill, similar to the one we're gonna, talk about during the tabletop today. So this is Fire Chief Paul Halbeisen? Halbeisen, thanks Paul. And Lisa Kelly? Keeling,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
So if you guys want to come up, introduce yourselves, I mean, that kind of shows a little bit about you up there, but you could add more.
Says you're
I made my
amazing.
bio
It
here.
says you're amazing.
It does. There was more I could have put up there. Come over here, because I've got a video over there for posterity's sake, you know.
Morning, Paul Holbeisen, as you can see. I've been with Fremont Fire Department since 2002.
Speak loud, it'd be better for the video. Thanks, Paul.
No worries. Been with Fremont Fire since 2002. Prior to that, I worked at Pleasant Walnut Joint Fire District down in Southern Ohio between Columbus and Lancaster. Just as a firefighter there. Previously to that, went to Hocking College, got my degree in public safety with an emphasis in fire science and pre-hospital care. But since Fremont, I've kind of gone up through the ranks, was firefighter, lieutenant, captain, and now chief. That's the gist of it. I married, kids.
How many kids you got?
I got 3 kids.
Awesome.
So, but as far as Fremont goes, like I said, I've been the chief there for just under 6 years. Kind of following Chief Foos and then Assistant Chief Schneider, who just recently retired. We did a transition. We don't have an assistant chief anymore. We have 3 battalion chiefs, which if you guys had a situation here, if it's after business hours on the weekdays, you're going to be in contact with that particular battalion chief for that specific crew, and they're going to be your incident commander, at least until I get here. My schedule is administrative, so I'm here Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, but they're on the shifts, so they're here 24/7, and there's one for each crew.
So can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
If a spill were to happen during the time when you are there, would you come out or would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I respond on any significant calls, structure fires, anything like this, anything that I feel that if I can use my battalion chief as staffing on that call, I'll come in and then be the incident commander. That way I have an extra body to do work. But like I said, I leave it usually between 4 and 5 in the afternoon, and I'm not here on weekends. So they're the ones that are in charge while I'm gone.
Okay. Any questions, any thoughts, any comments? It says here that you, during your tenure as chief, has been emphasized strategic planning, apparatus replacement, firefighting safety, emergency preparedness, and community risk reduction. Any comment on any of those?
We've replaced our frontline pumper at Central about 3 years ago. And then we have our frontline ladder truck, which we call our Quint, it's a 75-foot ladder that's on the east side, is getting replaced probably about this time next year. It was due to be, the new truck should have been here in December of this year, but we had to make some adjustments because I wanted the bigger Cummins in it, and it wasn't available, and then it became available because of the emission standards got changed. So it pushed us back about 6 months, but we're getting what we want in the long run. We had to wait a little bit longer for it. But so we'll have both frontline apparatus will be less than 5 years old, and we'll just keep continuing down that path. Strategic planning wise, we have the new battalion chiefs. That's one of their main prospects kind of within the next couple of years, and you'll probably see this when we come for our inspections. You're going to see more of an in-depth evaluation of the building to kind of build our pre-plans up better than what, they're not bad now, but we want them to be extremely efficient, detailed. We want to know everything about these facilities, especially the ones that have higher hazards in them. So that's something that they're kind of initiating as they kind of get comfortable in the position. We'll transition to that being a priority going over the next couple of years.
So more of an in-depth, deeper inspection of the facility.
Absolutely. Yep. So that way, because we're also gaining the technology in our frontline apparatus now. We have data terminals, computers that we can go in there, dive in, and access that stuff significantly faster and easier than we can whipping a binder out and flipping through pages like we used to do. So we're trying to keep up with the technology and then also input the data as the technology grows. We kind of push more data into it. So
We were talking about emerging technologies and spill response. Do you guys ever use drones?
well,
I mean, that might be
starting
something
to
more for Lisa.
more. Yeah, that's definitely Lisa's wheelhouse. But yeah, we're starting to definitely look at drones in a broader view than even what they do now. I mean, I think now the county has a fantastic drone team, but they're trying to expand it and then utilize it even more efficiently.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely, it's something that's being.
Good.
We use them on multiple different structure fires. We'll use them. Any large-scale event like the train incident a year ago, we utilized drones exceedingly on that one. Just things like that. You can't see everything where you're standing on the ground. To have an aerial view is
Absolutely.
priceless. So.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it, Chief Paul. Okay, thank you, Lisa. You got to stand up too. Sorry.
Jeez.
We want to see that pretty smile.
I don't know about all that, but All right, so I'm glad Paul did put all my stuff up here. So I am the director over emergency management for the county. I'm also the director over the Department of Homeland Security, 911. I'm the county's intelligence liaison officer, so I'm the go-between between FBI and our local law enforcement. And I'm also the regional representative over the 13 counties.
So they're just adding more responsibilities to you every year, it sounds like.
Correct, because we are federally paid. So my position, my office is federally paid. We don't have any local dollars, no general fund money from the county commissioners. So all of our directives and responsibility comes out of U.S. Homeland Security and FEMA. So I've been with the county for 15 years, and I was subcontracted to FEMA for 10 years prior to that. And I did nothing but go across the country responding to disasters, and I had a team of 42 people, and that's what we did. We'd be out on 14 to 21 day mission packages, home for 14 to 21 days, and then we would get set wherever they wanted us to next. So.
Spill response
Spill
primarily
response.
or entirely when you were? I know you've got other responsibilities now, but back then?
Hurricanes, wildfires,
Okay.
tornadoes, I mean, wherever, whatever they needed
Yeah.
us is what we were sent to.
Wherever FEMA sent you, you went.
Hurricane Katrina was the largest response that I
Yeah.
ever went to, and that was a multi-response back and forth. So, yeah, it's a lot. But I'm also the county's emergency and information coordinator for everything hazmat related. So all facilities, what they keep on site, at a minimum of 365 days a year, as well as all spill response. So that all comes through our office also, and we work with fire departments and the EPA to make sure when a spill happens, that it is cleaned back up to the specs of what the EPA and Ohio and US EPA require. So our whole role, I mean, in a very big picture kind of way, I always say if you think of a wheel, EMA's in the middle, and then you've got fire, law enforcement, EMS, and all other public safety and emergencies workers. We're all working together in a collaboration. The whole effort is how to keep everyone that's in our community, that not just lives here, but works here, travels through here, how do we keep them as safe as we can, to the best of our ability, so, every single day.
Okay,
So,
thank you very much.
You're
What we're
welcome.
gonna do next is we're going to talk about notification. So Caleb is gonna be our notification officer. What I do have here, let's just talk through this. This is the scenario I came up with. Yesterday, we had different teams, and each team essentially invented a spill incident, and then we switched papers, and another team developed a spill response plan, how they would do it, all on paper. This spill response was something that the unloader brought up. It did not happen here, but the unloader, the truck driver, kind of shared this event, something very, very similar, where there was a combination of, I did add stuff to it to make it a little more, I guess, response heavy, okay? So a combination of errors results in a significant release of TDI during an unloading operation. As I said earlier, unloading operations are by far the most frequent area where there's a significant release would be an unloading operation. During an unloading operation, there's a hose or connection failure. I think what happened with the unloader that he was talking about is there was overpressurization in the line, and the line burst. And he said about 75 gallons or 100 gallons came out of TDI and kind of splashed out. Went into the sump. There's a sump out there in the unloading area, so the TDI escapes to the ground, flows to the collection sump. Unfortunately, human error or electrical error, I don't know what it was, but the pump was not deactivated. And so as a result of that, when that TDI went to the bottom of the sump and the reached a certain level, it was pumped into the adjacent drainage ditch. So that's our spill response scenario. Okay, that happens, Caleb, and I'm going to give this out to everybody. This is kind of our notification sheets. I do have another sheet for the spill response. So, kind of talks about why we're doing this, what we're doing this for, and maybe some, I don't know, some things to keep in mind while we're doing it. We are actually going to call some of these agencies, but let's talk about internal communication first. Caleb, who would be the first person you'd call if something like this happened? Oh, by the way, let me put this up. Sorry. There. Can you see that okay? Is it getting bigger when I... Okay. So who would be the first person you call? Let's talk internally now, not necessarily externally. You see this, or you're aware of this, Reggie tells you, because you're close by, it's a big bad situation.
I think I would call 911 first.
You call 911 first. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to call 911.
I just call them right now.
Call them right now. We got a sheet here on the back. I'm going to take the date, and the first thing you say, Caleb, when you call them is what? Let me go back a slide or two. What? This is a drill. There, this is a drill. So you don't want them to think this is an actual emergency. Last time we did this, they said, okay, thanks, and they hung up. They don't want to do anything else with it. And I understand. They've got other potential calls coming in. So they won't ask you normal questions. If this were an actual event, they would have a form that they're going to fill out with you online or on the phone. They're going to start asking you questions. Is it a biological hazard, chemical hazard, radioactive hazard, whatever. So you'd have to answer a number of questions if it were an actual emergency.
Alright, so I'm
Okay.
gonna call them, tell them that I'm calling from Woodbridge, that this is just a drill.
This is just a drill, we're testing our notification exercise process. So this is from Caleb, what's your last name?
Howell.
Thanks. 911.
Woodbridge, this is a drill. We're just calling to go through an exercise, a notification exercise. We are doing a hazmat drill. Yeah, this is just a drill. This is not an actual emergency. Yes, ma'am. Nope, that's everything. Thank you.
Okay, 910, you dialed 911, you told them it was a drill, and they told you the location, they knew where you were.
Right where I was.
Do you think they get that because of his location on his phone, or because of, he said Woodbridge? Why did he know the location? Do you know?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah,
I
the answer to that. Tell me why.
So every time a call is placed, they get what's called an alley. So it automatically populate your location address on a screen in front of them, and then they'll always read it back to you to make sure that you're populating in the correct location.
Okay, great. So 911, if this were, can you guys add anything if this were an actual event? What would occur with the 911 call? You want to add anything to this conversation? I've done it in other counties.
Sure.
I've not done it here.
Sure, I mean, so, the moment if you tell them it's a hazmat spill of some sort, they're gonna start running through some questions with you. The first is always, is anyone hurt or injured, or has anyone, gotten into the chemical itself? If you can tell them the chemical, that's easier for them because they're already starting to relay that information as they're dropping tones and sending individuals. If someone has gotten into that chemical, you want them to know that, because that is information that can prepare EMS while they're en route, that we're, not only could potentially somebody be hurt, but also they may be contaminated, as well as for the fire department. And then giving them a location that someone's going to meet them. And then the next thing that I stress to them all the time is they need to ask is there a potential for it to get into a waterway? Because even a lot of facilities have catch basins underneath that actually internally flow to a ditch, which a lot of people don't realize a ditch by Ohio standards is considered a waterway. So if it gets into the ditch, it can get carried to the water, and we have a whole different problem on our hands. So those are just some questions they should start running through with you to make sure that they get fire and EMS properly prepared. Depending what is going on, so on an average given day, there's a minimum of 2. Day shift, there's usually 3 dispatchers sitting in the room, as well as the director is in her office. So she needs to come out, there's 5 councils total in the dispatch center, so she could always come out if there's a lot going on also. The one thing I always say is, try within your planning to only have one key person calling 911. Do not allow like a whole, like first shift to start calling 911, because what you'll actually do, you throw my system into what's called a rollover. And it's because there's not enough people to answer the calls, so they just start rolling, and then people think 911's not picking up, and that's not really the case. We do have a rollover here in place that would go to Wood or Ottawa. Our systems are combined. But the fact remains, if your 911 call goes to Wood because, let's say, half of first shift dial 911, the Wood County dispatcher doesn't know anything about here. They're just a person on the other end of the line, and they gotta try to get you back over so the dispatchers there can be able to get the information.
So can I repeat some of what you said?
Sure.
One thing I heard that only one person should call. You don't necessarily, and we were talking about this earlier, anybody on the emergency response team should feel the freedom to call 911.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to go to the incident commander or the plant manager or anybody like that. But what they don't want is 3 people from the facility on the same event, calling 911. So essentially what I hear from that is, if you're gonna call 911, you need to communicate to others. I called 911 already, nobody else has to call that. Okay, so you need to, if you were to ask anybody, let me add to this spill scenario. What Reggie said is there's, kind of an explosion, if you want to use that term, of TDI, and the driver then put on his face piece, okay, his mask, because of it. Now, well, there was TDI in the mask, so he throws that in his face. So, is anybody hurt, Caleb?
Yes, because that guy just put on.
What chemical have they been exposed to?
They've been exposed to TDI.
What's that?
Exactly, that's what I was trying to get at. They don't know TDI like you do. So what chemical have they been exposed to?
TDI.
Toluene diisocyanate.
Yeah.
Yes, toluene diisocyanate.
2078.
Yeah, 2078 would be the emergency response guidebook number. If you know that, that would help them. Okay, so now I guess they'll be coming out with maybe some, yes, Steve, I'm sorry, Paul, tell us more.
Earlier when I talked about like the mobile data terminals that we have in our trucks now, all the information that you're giving, not all of it, but a summarized portion of the information that you're giving dispatch. So all these things that we're continuing to talk about, injured person, how are they injured, what's the chemical, that's all, as we're en route here, that's all popping up on our screen that we can have the ability to read. So the more information you give them, the better for everyone. So just
Would
keep
that be
in mind.
true in the ambulance too?
Yes.
Okay, so they would have the same access to the same information.
Yes, currently EMS, Fremont Fire, Fremont PD, and Smith County Sheriff's deputies all have the same capabilities in terms of mobile data terminal access.
Okay,
When you get into the outlying volunteer fire departments, that's not the case, which they may get called for, mutual aid if needed for staffing, but for here in Fremont, yes.
okay, great. Okay, we dialed 911, the ambulance, and the fire department, fire truck is on its way. The reportable quantity for TDI is 100 pounds. Okay, the weight of TDI is about 11 pounds per gallon. We've had 100 gallons that were released in my other slide, sorry about that. Let's see if I can find it. Spill scenario, 100 gallons were released. Do you need to notify the EPA?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go through that process. Do you need to notify the Ohio EPA? Yes. So here's your list. Let's call them. Who are you going to call first, federal or state? I'll let you decide.
State.
Doesn't matter, really. Go ahead. See the number there or not? Can you see it okay? Is that big enough or not?
Yeah. Which one do I call? There's two numbers.
You tell me. I don't care.
I'll call the 614.
I'd always use the non-800 number, but if I can't, I don't know why. 800 numbers are almost obsolete nowadays, because everybody can call for free. You got it on speaker, I'm sure, don't you?
Yeah.
What's the phrase?
This is a drill.
Sorry,
Clinical nurse manager.
is not available. Record your message.
I leave a message.
I would.
Yeah, hung up.
Did they hang up?
That's
Oh.
right.
Why don't you call them back and leave a message? Just say, this is a drill. We're calling from Woodbridge Corporation, this is a drill. Maybe they'll pick up the second time.
I'm gonna call it 1-800.
Okay.
We want you to leave a message with the other ones, you know.
No answer. Called again.
Woodbridge Corporation. All the exercises are.
I would start off with, this is a drill.
Sorry,
Clinical nurse manager.
is not available.
This is a drill. I am calling from Woodbridge Corporation in Fremont, Ohio. They're just exercising the phone numbers to see what we do in the case of an actual emergency.
Good. Nothing wrong with that. It's a shame that they went to a message, in my opinion.
I don't
They
know if it's the
obviously
right
don't.
number because
Neither one
nobody's
does.
answered.
I just looked it up. I
Well,
got
none-
two different
none of the one of
numbers,
those
so
what?
not that.
Or the school hotline number.
Oh, let's
That's
do that.
why.
That's good. That's why we're doing
That's why you're
this.
not, that's why I'm just waiting to
Awesome.
see what you guys were gonna do.
Okay, so let's, do you know the Ohio number off the top of your head? This is why we're doing
Not off
this.
the top of my
It
head.
said clinical something or other, so.
Yes. So this is
They have a
Lisa's.
third party that answers for them now, they no longer answer them internally, they have a third party.
Not the hotline. This is not the hotline.
I have the hotline.
You?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, what's the number? What's the number you got? Who's got it?
614-224-0946.
614-224, what?
0946.
0946. Try that, Caleb.
Is this the number that you were gonna give us?
I don't know, I didn't finish looking it up in my phone apps.
WBD emergency response.
This is just a drill. I'm calling from Woodbridge Corporation in Fremont, Ohio. We are currently going over a hazmat refresher, and we are just exercising the phone numbers that we have in case of an actual emergency.
Very good. We're still here.
Perfect, thank you.
We're still here.
Good, great. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
That is the right number, so that sheet needs to change. That sheet needs to change to the Ohio hotline number and not the state, Ohio State Emergency Response Commission. Good. So, picked up, told him this was a drill. Picked up, this is a drill, okay. Okay, now who are you gonna call?
What are my options?
Well, let's see here. Who else would you call?
Maybe
You see it okay?
should I call the National Response Center
That's what I would do,
or the Chemical Emergency?
National Response Center. That's what I would call. Now, when you call them, you're gonna get a recording. If it's an actual emergency, push 1. If this is a drill, push 2 or another number. So don't push if it's an actual emergency. Wait, because another option will be, this is if it's a drill. And they'll record the date and everything else in their files. So don't push that it's an actual emergency.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yep, you're the same time, that's right.
For English, press 1. Para español, oprima 2.
Press 1, did you?
For English?
The National Communications Center reported oil, chemical, biological, and radiological discharges to the environment, as well as the reporting center for maritime security and railroad incidents. If your call involves a medical emergency or life-threatening situation, please call 911 for business notification. Please listen carefully for the following written options. If you are calling to report an actual incident or potential discharge of oil or relief of hazardous materials, please press 1. If you are calling to make an update, correction, or 48-hour update, please press 2. If you are calling to report a drill or exercise, please press 3. For quality, please state that you are reporting a drill or exercise to the watch standard. If your call is important to us, please continue to hold to the next watch standard.
The National Response Center, how may I assist?
Hi, I am calling from Woodbridge in Fremont, Ohio. This is just a drill. We are just testing out and going through all of the phone numbers and contacts that we have in case of an actual emergency.
Alright, so this sounds like a verification drill. You just might need my name and a timestamp, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright, yes, I can record your National Response Center. Were you reporting the
Okay, anybody else you want to call? Okay, can I ask you guys a question? I don't know that Woodbridge has on contract an outside private emergency response contractor. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? I know you can't give out recommendations, but companies who would do that, in a situation like this, it seems like it's beyond their control, beyond their ability to really deal with it. Who would they talk to or contact to get help?
Well, they've missed calling me.
They missed calling, oh.
I should have been called
absolute-
right after you.
Absolutely right. Thank you, Lisa.
Before you call US EPA, I should be called, only because Ohio EPA, they're on call. As soon as it hits, when you call the spill hotline, it automatically gets sent to whoever the on-call for Ohio EPA is. They then always call me and have me give them a briefing on what's going on. If I don't know what's going on, I can't fill them in.
Which one are you on there?
She's not, are you on
I
here?
am, yep, up in the top. See, Ohio
Local
Local
emergency?
Emergency
Oh,
Planning,
okay.
Sandusky County.
Okay, there we go. Let's call Lisa. Is that okay?
You can call me, my deputy will answer.
All right, Lisa, how are you doing? I'm sorry.
My deputy will answer, she knows I'm here.
Okay, so let's call the Sandusky County. I don't know why we have the other counties there, but that's who we have.
Yeah,
We're in Sandusky County.
So we have to talk to Lisa?
No, just say this is a drill,
yeah,
just like
yeah,
us.
just tell her it's a drill, she'll know. Ashley's in.
Hi, this is just a drill. We are calling from Woodbridge here in Fremont, Ohio. We are currently going through a hazmat class and testing out our notification exercise. All right, thank you. 419 334 8933.
His daytime phone.
What about the nighttime? Is there another one?
Yep, there's a 24-hour cell.
24 hour, what is it?
419
Same.
680.
Well, you're too fast for me.
Oh,
680?
yep. 6991.
Okay, 24 hours, should they call that all the time?
All-
Just to make.
I say call it all the time because.
Okay, so in
it
the
even doesn't
future,
in the shower with
in the
me.
future, you're gonna have that, you're gonna have a 24-hour Sandusky County LEPC number as your contact person.
Can I make a recommendation?
Please.
On the sheet?
Yes,
Some,
well,
I think
what
on
did I
that
do?
sheet, we need to mark down who's called first, beside the name. 1, 2, 3, 4.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Who do we call first? So,
They get a call at tree,
Yes.
an actual tree.
Yes.
yes, so, I mean, I would say, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm gonna take a stab at this, 911 first.
Yes.
And then I would say LEPC,
Yes.
okay, say LEPC. And then Ohio. Ohio 24 emergency number, and then the national response center.
Yeah.
Okay. And then EPA, so 911, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I agree with you, very good point, I was thinking the same thing. All those numbers are good, but in the event of a spill, you need to have it very clear, which ones, you don't need to call the local hospital necessarily in the event of a spill, you want to call 911. You don't want to call poison control, obviously, yes, sir.
You know, that, I see that was made in 2018.
Uh-huh.
Who takes care of that, keeps up with the numbers and everything? They
Oh, we're gonna
change.
change it after this, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, but who's gonna, you know?
Who's gonna be responsible for making sure it's up to date?
Yeah.
To really, if you wanna know the truth, we're gonna do this every year. We're gonna do it, it's required that we do a notification exercise every year. So we'll probably do the same thing. Last year we didn't do this. Last year we got online and we just, we just searched online, which was not nearly as effective or efficient. And so this year we wanted to check these numbers out.
It used to be down in
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I will offer you a list, if you're gonna keep your local hospitals on there, both of those have name changes now.
Okay.
It's ProMedica Fremont Memorial
Fire.
and Firelands Bellevue.
Name changes on hospitals.
Oh, Brandon will be in next. Brandon will be in to take care of all this.
Any other comments you see on those things?
Yeah, I'm liking his idea with the tree, because I think at the very top, it's gonna have, it should say chemical, this is the row, fire, this is the row, and then something, because, yeah, we're gonna have 4 of them there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we got a fire, and then all of a sudden, they're gonna do the 1, 2, 3, 4.
If it was an injury, I'm talking to you, Dwight, if it was an injury, would you dial 911 or the hospital? That's what I would say too. The hospital, why would you call the hospital in what situation? If you're maybe driving somebody, not calling 911? I don't know.
Why would I call the hospital?
Yeah,
If I call 911 first, but maybe if there's multiple people and
let them know.
I'm sure the fire department's gonna tell them, but I'd say, hey, you got 20 people coming with these types of injuries.
Yeah, okay. Any comments? When to call the hospital?
You want me to weigh in, or so you wanna go ahead?
Go ahead.
Don't remember this.
I mean, honestly, fire and EMS have, really good collaboration with the hospitals. If they have, it goes back off of that initial call. The more information they have on the initial, the more they have while they're en route. And if they have that while en route, like let's say that you said that there was a toluene incident at Woodbridge, real life, 20 people, EMS is probably already radioed to the hospital while they're en route here to let them know that there's 20. If you guys wanted to, you could, but I feel like it might be an extra step that someone's gotta remember to make that call that's kinda unnecessary because the, public safety's already gonna be kinda taking care of that. It is good to have it though, and I guess I think of it in the aspect of though, if you have a local hospital where, let's say, broke their arm, broken leg, whatever, for whatever reason you're driving them and not calling 911 for a squad, then you might want that on your call down sheet, but I think the likelihood that you would use that number would probably be slim to
Less
none.
likely.
Because someone's already pretty much given them a heads up if they know exactly off that first call what's going on. And if they don't have enough information off that first call, when they get on scene and they assess the scene, and they determine, okay, we didn't have this information during first initial 911, but they get that information, then they start radioing the hospitals. Because they could, depending upon the injury, it goes by injury, bed availability, are they deferring patients, depends where they're going. Some days, if they're on deferment, ProMedic and Bellevue, neither one, if they're busy, might be taking patients. So they might end up going to Firelands and Sandusky, so they're looking, they can see, it's called EM resource tracking. It's what's used for all of Northwest Ohio, so we can track that availability in hospitals, so.
Okay, any other numbers? Like, there's one here, Public Utilities Commission of Ohio.
Another thing I wanna add
Yeah,
on that,
please.
is this happened to me. When I got a phone call from a neighbor having me go check on my dad, because she said that he wasn't talking right. So by the time, because I'm only 5 minutes from my dad, by the time I got there, and then I was thinking about taking him to the hospital. If I would have taken him to the hospital, I would have taken him to the wrong one, because they were booked and they didn't have the equipment needed. And I did call 911, and I didn't find out, they took him to the other hospital, because they found out, because what you're saying, they knew. And then they took him right with me to the other hospitals. I would strongly
Recommend
disagree
911 over, yeah.
with taking somebody to the hospital, because you're gonna end up taking them to the wrong damn one.
Well, it's fluid,
Yeah.
because there's times where Fremont ProMedic is on CT diversion, because their CT machine's being maintenance or it's down. You don't know that.
Right.
We get notifications of that, the EMS knows that. So 911 always. I mean, if you're ever in question, don't hesitate.
I don't even think it should be an option for us to call a local hospital. We have no business calling a local hospital for any reason. We call 911 and then.
I mean,
it's out of
to have the
pocket.
number to check on your employees after the fact
That's a different story.
could be the only reason. that-
I don't think it needs to be on the sheet personally, yeah.
That sheet is 8 years old.
I mean, where I live, I dial 911, they're there in less than 5 minutes. They're really quick.
And then state fire marshal, I
Yeah.
mean, you can have it on there, but if it's needed, we're the ones that's gonna be contacting the fire. I have direct phone numbers to, the marshal's office and their dispatch center and whatnot. It's not gonna be you guys making that call, it's gonna be me or one of my officers.
It's kind of the same with Ohio Homeland Security. If you call them and you signify that you're from Fremont, Ohio, the first thing they're gonna say is, what county is that? You tell them Sandusky, the first thing they're gonna say is, did you call a director field? That's the first question they're gonna ask, because they're not gonna provide any information if you haven't went through locally, so.
Yeah. What about Poison Control Center? Any need for that? Not bad, maybe?
Yeah, I mean.
I would see TV.
Maybe, okay.
I mean, if you have anything less invasive, like, you could have poison anywhere in the facility, it doesn't have to be a TDI.
Yeah.
So if that could be a valuable key.
Okay. Ohio Homeland Security not necessary?
No, because they're gonna ask them if they've called me yet.
Okay.
It kinda
Going back to my
works-
other question, I'm sorry,
It kind of
Kevin.
works up from, like, if you want all the numbers on there, you can, but you should have a separate calling tree. You start at the bottom and then the way the system kind of works is it branches out from there. We don't rely on the customer, so to speak, to facilitate all these, state and then federal. It kind of happens once you call us local. And if the need is there, it goes to that level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. We got diverted from my original question about what if they need outside private contractors to help with the remediation?
They're gonna list from me.
They would get a list from you?
They can if they request it.
You have a list of people?
Of approved cleanup companies.
You have, so there are approved cleanup companies?
That have been approved by Ohio EPA.
How many are there?
I think there's 20, kind of depends on the chemical, but there's probably roughly 24, 25 that kind of clean up almost anything in Ohio, and then there's specialized cleanup companies.
What's the closest one? Is it, should we not go with the closest one? Should we go to the best one? What would you, I mean, I don't know if what you could say or not say.
I can't recommend, which is
I know
why
you
I
can't.
hand you a list of approved Ohio EPA cleanup companies. What I am allowed by law to tell you is, here's a list of cleanup companies, feel free to call them. You need to get under contract to have one of them come in and clean up to Ohio EPA specs. And I usually, the very soon as I stop talking, the question is, well, who do you recommend?
Yeah, you
And I
can.
always say, by law, I'm not allowed to make a recommendation, but we work the most with,
Who?
it's usually ERG. So, doesn't always
you
mean, it
comply
doesn't
with the
mean,
law,
I
right.
don't care who you pick, because honestly, every cleanup company has their own contract method, they have their own pricing, and by law, I'm not allowed to recommend anyways, but it's always up to the facility or the spiller under Ohio law on who they wanna go with and to get under contract. But those are gonna be my first questions, is, do you have a cleanup company? If so, what is their ETA? And if you don't have one, I need you to get under contract with someone, and I need an ETA. And the ETA, I won't even think about leaving the scene until I have an ETA.
You mean, that's been a term of arrival?
Yes.
That's me, okay.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll say, it's, oh, I don't know, they're gonna come and.
Tomorrow,
and-
maybe the day
correct.
after.
Yeah, and then if it gets to the point where it's really becoming very like shady, wishy-washy for me, I'm gonna call them directly, and then I'm gonna have a conversation with them one-on-one, because I need to understand why we can't get an ETA.
Where is ERG located?
Bowling Green, outside Bowling Green.
It would be highly recommended to maybe get the list from her now,
Yes,
and then research these companies, call them, find out what their capabilities are.
Yeah.
And then as an organization, make a determination of who your go-to would be and have that on that sheet.
you can
Could
always
you
use
email
our-
me
At least a
and Brandon?
couple of them.
Sure,
If you could attach that to an email to
Sure.
Brandon and me, that'd be great. Brandon's the process engineering manager, so you'll meet him this afternoon. or in the next session.
Because the last thing you're gonna wanna do in that situation is be shopping on the
Yes.
phone for a company.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot of
they,
cleanup needs to be done.
I don't,
Right.
if they do, if this facility does have a agreement with somebody, does it pay, does it cost to have a contract with them? An annual thing, or is it depends on the company?
Usually depends on the company. A lot
Some
of
require a
companies,
little payment up front? or an
mine
annual?
usually just more like what they call a contract signing fee,
Okay.
where you're signing that if you have a problem,
They agree to come.
they're going to be the ones to agree to come. And usually within your contract, it's spelled out, like, it's automatically a 2-hour ETA. It's automatically they're gonna do from start to finish, or if you need to get, they'll do this portion, but you need to have someone else for disposal, which doesn't usually happen, but there is some out there that will do this, but they won't contract for the disposal, or they'll contract for the disposal with an additional fee on what the disposal rate will be for them. So it really depends per company, but I always tell everyone, if you can get under contract, even if they have a small annual contract signing fee, you should do it, just because you're going to get a quicker response. How the process works, if you do not have a contract and you try to get under a contract, they do not take it as a good faith service. These cleanup companies, they run credit background checks, they're asking for credit card payment. If you don't have a credit card payment that exceeds the threshold of what they think that it's gonna take to clean up your mess, then you're looking at a loan. It is a process, and it can be very involved, and that's why I always tell everyone, if you can, do the annual contract. Just to
Okay.
save yourself the headache.
Okay. So that's something else we need to investigate, Brandon, and I will do that during the audit, okay? Any other comments on notification? Did we miss anything? Yes,
The 52 fire extinguishers, I think that's 65.
65 now?
I believe.
Okay, thank you for that update. And you've got the list of where they're all at, right?
Is that?
Maintenance has the list of where they're all at?
Yeah, there
Are they written out anywhere or not?
is. There's no chart or anything. I go walk the building and I sign them every month.
Used to be a chart.
Never.
You said red dot.
It's not updated.
I might recommend getting a chart just in case something happens, so.
I think Don Mikowski started that years ago. Just he kind of pinpointed some in certain areas, but it's never there.
Okay, anything else? Thanks, Dwight, for that comment, very helpful. Let's do a spill response. How much time we got here? 15 minutes, okay? We're gonna break up into 2 groups, one with Lisa, one with Chief Paul. Do you go by Chief Paul or Chief,
Whatever,
okay,
you can call me whatever you want.
okay. Chief Paul sounded funny, but I have a hard time pronouncing your last name for sure.
Yeah, it's tough. It's whole bison, but
Chief Hallbison, thank you. So let's get into 2 groups, maybe you 3 with Chief Hallbison, and Lisa, maybe you, do you mind coming over here, Lisa? With these guys, you can sit on this side of the table. And we've got our spill scenario, I'll put it back up, and we're just gonna kind of talk through what we would do. Okay, I'm sorry, you'll have each of give her these. And I don't need to turn them all in. I wouldn't mind getting one official copy from somebody who writes legibly. Yeah, you can't do it in other words, I'm kidding.
I was gonna grab one of those when I was worried they'd scratch your floor, so.
Did you get one too? Yeah. So, one of you guys, who's gonna write legibly for me? Thanks, Rob.
Not me. You want to know who it is?
So talk through the spill response, I'll put it back up, just in case you need it. You don't really need that first page unless you want to add to the spill response. I'm sorry, the spill scenario. This is our tabletop exercise, and we're gonna try to call it. About 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if you could, and then maybe a sharp presentation would be nice. Somebody's gonna facilitate you through it, yeah.
So are we using that up there?
Yes, that's our spill scenario. That's what happened. I gave you a blank page. You can put that in there if you want to.
We call your dock out there.
It is unloading, so it'll be over there,
Where we did, testing on
you know what, cafeteria's not gonna work, it's gonna be within that zone. So I would say the materials, because that's on the back corner of the facility. It's outside of the radius.
Zones designated, hot zone.
Being this is outside, it's gonna be that whole circle. This whole circle right here, because of that being outside, you're not gonna know the wind. You're gonna assume the wind's coming this way, because that's what it is about 90%.
I said to someone like.
This whole area is gonna need to be blocked off. We're gonna have to notify the other neighbors over here, so we can let them know. Right here's the
Emergency incident. Steve. I think Steve.
So it's 50 meters circle from the neighbors, warm
That's
zone
gonna
would
be
be.
determining wind direction and that kind of thing. So you, they can determine if it's a southwest wind, like it typically is, elevated position in the far corner of the harbor.
Yeah, we
This is
normally do like.
he only offloads here on day shift. So we got two
Obviously, we have
supervisors,
inside.
two tours,
In the building.
one maintenance,
Yeah, 'cause it's just
me.
the exit right there.
So that's the six that are here.
Your warm zone right in the entrance.
That's how major required.
There's a side door right over here that leads right where the off-load area is. So if you had the decon right
That's
there,
all we
that
have
door,
on the day shift.
you had the command post just
That's still,
outside.
I don't know how
Got
many
the door open, you bring
you guys will be bringing.
the outside,
It's about what the hell.
where you're standing by the chillers there. And it was blowing the other way.
So originally, HVAC units were like rooftop. Are there any
We
near
stood
this end of
outside.
the building?
What's that?
Are there any near this end of the building where you're?
Right down into me, I'm like, I
I'm
just.
just trying to determine whether the building
Be or
itself
not,
is
because
gonna
I'm
be
not
a
coming.
viable, safe place
Like,
for you
oh,
to
I'm
do
averaging a
evacuation.
temperature.
Say you got 100 gallons out in the dock, are you planning on evacuating the building?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's asking.
Would you do that?
Shouldn't have to, but maybe you would.
You guys get that?
I feel like the door is open and sound is up to people.
I'd say we should evacuate.
So if you're gonna evacuate the building, then your instant command post probably is the building.
Plus, call it outside.
We'll make it.
Plus outside personnel.
Whatever it is, it's okay to do, basically, due to building evacuation and, upwind, uphill.
With, I want to call it SCBA with the air breathing. What'd you call that, Paul? Since it's not SCBA, it's what? Our air
So,
breathing?
air supply respirator. What do you think about evacuating the building?
It's gonna depend on a lot of different things. It's gonna depend on wind direction, it's gonna depend on HVAC units, if they're gonna be sucking in the vapor.
So we got that big fan U.
I'm gonna say no.
And this is dropping
Almost
outside.
go 100
That goes,
gallons that were shut off.
so that's on the top, so I don't know if that would, how much of a factor that would.
Yeah, that's true.
We would, I mean, it would, if the building is a safe
How was
location,
it stopped?
I mean, we just bring monitoring equipment in here to determine whether or not there is any,
Accumulation of vapor.
Right.
Yeah.
and if there isn't, you know, we can keep that maintained, and then you can keep people in the building if it's safe to do so. Otherwise,
system
I
is
mean,
designed-
I always err on the side of caution.
It doesn't.
Meaning
signify
evacuate?
Yeah,
It's gonna shut
I mean,
off.
my first
Yeah,
trigger
close.
response would be get everybody out of the building,
It's still.
Then we'll
monitor.
assess the situation, make a determination of where our hot warm cold zones are, and then we'll go from there. But initially, I'd probably want everybody out
So-
until we determine that.
Normally our go-to place for everybody to evacuate the building is normally the flagpole. But the spill is over on the far side of the building. Flagpoles are right there, so that wind's blowing.
And that is sometimes downhill, downwind, I mean. Let me
Yeah.
put the wind worlds up and let you look at it.
Well, you can always ask too, and that's something that, I don't know if you wanna put like make a list of what you need to do or ask when you call 911. Like if somebody has that, like if you're grabbing that sheet, there's also another sheet right there that says exactly what you need to put in there. Because you can ask dispatch on that 911 call, what's the wind direction and speed? And they can tell you. So if you ask them that, they'll say it's southwest wind at 10 miles an hour. You're gonna evacuate everybody on the windward side to keep them out of the.
Okay. Let me get your input, Paul, on this if I could. That's your windrows, you see it up there in the upper right? That's the loading area. Flagpole is where? Like around here?
To your left.
No, right there, under,
Right there?
up a little bit, up, you see the flags right there, to left, left?
Right there.
Left there? Oh, right there? I see him.
Yep.
I see him. That's downwind most of the time. You see what I'm saying? Don't you think, Paul?
Would not be a good place.
Would it be better to have them meet over here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you call, if this is something that it's gonna be well known within your facility of a migrating, meeting place, based off of wind direction, you need to know to ask that wind direction when you call 911. And then that's good. You can have multiple predetermined ones around your facility based off of whatever the wind direction might be that day. And you can label them, meeting place A, B, C, D, or alpha, delta, whatever you want to call them, based off of your wind direction.
Yeah.
And that's a pre-planning step.
Yeah.
And you could drill as deep as you want
Right.
with these pre-plans, or you can leave them as general as you want. So that's kind of mid-level, but it's up to you guys on how prepared you want to be
Yeah.
for an event.
Let me tell you what I would propose, see what you think, okay? I would say, let's not move it right now. That's where they've been doing it for decades. So if there is a spill, they would go here. The incident commander, if the wind is a problem and you're smelling TDI in this area, well, then you need to move over here some other place. But that would be an incident commander decision and not something you would normally do automatically. Does that sound reasonable?
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessary to change it over here. I mean, spills like this have not happened, hopefully they will never happen. It's, again, you want to plan for it, but highly unlikely. I don't think it's necessarily worthwhile to change the meeting place for that.
Okay.
You disagree with me, Paul?
That's just how my mind works.
What do you mean?
Well, whenever I start thinking about something like that, I end up drilling real deep and.
Drill
say,
deeper
well,
for me.
Well,
What
we
would
could do
you-
this, we could do that, we could do this, we could do that, but,
Drill deeper for me, what would you say? I wouldn't learn from
well,
you.
that, just on the level of what I was trying to explain earlier, based off of wind direction, having multiple meeting places, but if you don't think that's necessary, if you want to audible at the time, that's perfectly fine too, just as long as you have somebody calling those shots. Because come the day of that this may happen, and you don't have an incident commander that's thinking
Like
enough to
that.
call those shots, then you're gonna maybe put people in harm's way, because just because the flagpole's where we've always met, we're gonna stay here, because this is the meeting place. And all of a sudden, the wind direction's pushing vapor right into your crowd of people, and that incident commander doesn't have the wherewithal to change that meeting place location. I'm just speculating.
So what you're saying, let me try to repeat what you're saying, okay? You could have, rallying point A, rallying point B.
Sure.
And if during the evacuation warning, which is audible, evacuate the building to rally point B. If it's a spill like that, if it's an outside spill, if it's a fire, maybe a flagpole would be fine, I don't know, or something like that. But you would say then rally point A or rally point B. So it would require the emergency response team, whoever's gonna make that plant-wide evacuation, the chief supervisor, to be able to make that determination. That's kind of what you're saying then, right? Okay. Thanks.
Another
Keep on going,
thing I
guys.
got,
Are we, what time is it on the
Back.
phone?
so when you, the fire trucks would come, where do
50?
you normally get a pull?
54.
Or
Is this 54?
Away fire. Either one, I mean,
We're gonna come in the front entrance, most likely,
it's where everyone's standing at.
pretty much, yeah. Unless we get a predetermined location that's gonna be around like the
If you're- yeah.
southeast corner of the building.
Gotcha.
We'll come in that secondary exit, but, I mean, 9 times out of 10, we roll right up
Through that front.
through that front.
I didn't bring.
That all leads to what information we're given on the 911 call.
Correct.
You know, if it's gonna be
I
a
know,
fire in the
I
dock area,
I couldn't.
Of course, you're right.
load and unload, you know, we'll come in the back. It's all based on whatever information we're given.
Are we able to do a short presentation of what we did or not? You guys pretty much done? Why don't you do a short presentation? Somebody from this group, right from where you're at, don't have to get up front.
I can't read your handwriting.
Okay, Rob.
So who's the emergency incident commander?
Speak really clearly and loudly.
It would be the
Don't mumble.
supervisor. Where's the incident command post? We would do it back in materials, do it in their office back there. And that would get us far enough away from everything, so that way we don't have to worry about the chemicals, the fumes and everything. And that's why the command post is located out there. We're outside the radius of the spill radius. Where are the zones designated? Hot zone, it's 50-meter radius. And then the warm zone would be anything outside that 50 meters. How many emergency responders are required? I don't know what required, we were wondering what that was. You know, there's not a set how many you have to have, but for first shift, there'd be seven plus people.
On the ERT.
On the ERT team. Plus any outside personnel that would have to come in and help out. What type of PPE? Be the Class B suit with the air supply respirator and mask. Is this blue? Is continuous? So it was contained obviously in the area where it was being offloaded, but the truck with the hose burst, the truck was shut off, and that's how it stopped the flow. Then who was notified? We would notify 911 first, the local, state, and federal EPA. Lisa, we'll make sure we call her first. Before we call them.
Thanks.
And then the ERT team, plant manager, plant engineer, and anybody else we need to throughout the plants out there.
Okay. Other group want to say something? Want a brief presentation?
We kinda got tied up with,
That's okay.
some other
Do you have anything you want to share, maybe from your time or not? You don't have to. It doesn't sound like it. You gonna say something?
Go ahead, Dave.
We definitely should set up a second rally point, because you look at our windrows, the whole parking lot's coughing.
Yeah, could be. Okay. That's the biggest point I would say is a second rallying point would be something to consider. Okay. Hey, thanks you guys. Your group is dismissed and we got another group coming in. Perhaps going to be a little bit larger, this group. Thanks for your help. Again, thanks Paul and Lisa, appreciate your help.
I was gonna talk to you boys at 2 a.m. I always say that though, I feel like it'll make you guys feel better.
So, they should be trickling in here in the next 4 to 5 minutes, hopefully. This group should be a little bit larger. What they do is they have the night shift who stays over longer, the other 4 hours, we have a 12-hour day.
Oh, got it.
And
Are you
then
musical chairs today?
this would have the evening shift and the day shift people. This is very helpful for us. I appreciate your input, I really do.
I would suggest though, I double checked with my deputy, I had her pull up. They have a floor plan in their tier 2 that they sent to me. They could easily take that floor plan for their chemicals and add in those fire extinguisher.
So they have a floor plan with the chemical locations?
Yes.
Like the tier 2
On
response?
the-
Tier
that
2,
came in with
tier
their-
2.
Comes in with their tier 2.
Okay.
So, I know he said it, you know, the gentleman said, well, it's up here, which,
That's not,
I mean,
that's never good.
because honestly, I always say, if something was to happen to him tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, if somebody.
No, I understand what
goes
you're
here and
exactly what
find
you're saying.
them,
Right.
But if they already have the floor plan, they could easily go through on that floor plan and
Right.
say, please indicate that here is our 61 or how many ever it is fire extinguishers. Because the floor plan is already done, the hard part's done. It's
yeah,
just identifying where
that's
it's-
definitely what I'll recommend in our audit
Yeah,
results.
so,
Yeah.
but I had her double pull that up, I'm like, they did submit their floor plan, right? Listen, that's an easy way to
Yeah.
incorporate that
No,
in
no,
without
no.
reinventing the wheel, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had to connect to the gas, I was struggling.
It sucks.
Yeah, and then I had to try to connect to the gas like 3 times, it finally took.
Brandon, your seat's taken.
I know, you guys.
This is Brandon. You guys met Brandon?
Hi,
How are we doing?
hi, Director Peeling, hi,
Nice to meet you guys. Heard my name was getting tossed around up here, I got a lot
It
of
was
work.
all,
to do.
it was all in good. It was all good stuff.
Ah,
Yeah, Brandon is the process engineering manager, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So you've been here a little over a year?
Yep,
Yep. Good. Doing a great job from my perspective.
trying to get caught up on a lot of stuff that seemed to have been dismissed for
Yes.
a year and a half prior
Yes.
to me coming on, so.
Yes. I think they probably knew Don. I don't know if they ever got to know Brian or not.
Probably not.
Yeah, I was.
Going back to Dave, a lot of stuff that prior to was done by Don, nothing by Ryan.
Yeah.
How we doing?
So 2, 4, 6, 7, waiting for a few more.
I thought I was mistaken, I actually pulled it up.
I might give these things out to you now, but we're not gonna use them right away, okay? You just get one of those, maybe I'll just let you take one and pass it, does that sound okay? We're gonna use those, but we're not gonna use them right away. Anybody know somebody's not coming? Don't wait for them. I think we had 3 more people yesterday.
Yeah, that go off today? What's the other second shift filler, is he up?
No, I do. I don't think she's scheduled us.
Thanks. I might take one of those notifications and so I can take notes again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Getting closer. I will wait a few more minutes. 5 after is the deadline.
Oh. Yeah, last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Okay, let's get started. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna start off with what the other group ended with, because we have Fire Chief Haldeisen here, as well as Lisa Kelling, who is the Director of the Local Emergency Planning Commission, and a lot of other responsibilities. I'm gonna start off with them just kind of introducing themselves, telling us a little bit about what they do. They participated a lot in our notification exercise. After their brief introduction, we're gonna do a notification exercise. We're gonna have a simulated spill, and we're going to then do a kind of a tabletop exercise for this spill. It was something that actually Reggie's group kind of came up with. Adriano, you were in that group yesterday too. So it's something similar to that, but I added to it to make it more exciting. So, yeah, come on up so we can get your video again. We're not gonna put you in there twice. We'll choose the best video with the biggest smile. Thank you for coming up.
Yes, sir. My name's Paul Waldheisen. I'm the Fire Chief, City of Fremont Fire Department. Been the chief a little under 6 years now. Been with the fire department for over 23 years. Prior to that, I was at Pleasant Walnut Fire District down in southern Ohio between Columbus and Lancaster. So with Fremont, I worked my way up. Like I said, I've been there 23 years, firefighter, lieutenant, captain, and then chief. We have 26 people in the department currently. We used to have Assistant Chief Schneider, who was a 36-year employee of the fire department, recently retired. We did a transition when he retired and created 3 battalion chief positions. So anytime that you guys might have a call here, whether it's a fire or a spill or an alarm or anything, if it's after hours or weekends or whatever, those battalion chiefs are going to be the individuals that you're going to see, at least initially. They're going to be the ones in charge of each crew. There's 3 of them, 1 for each crew. They're there 24/7, 365. And then for me, I work administrative hours. I'm 8 to 4 Monday through Friday, but any significant calls, I am always on call. I'm always calling. The other morning I was in at 3:30 in the morning. So I mean, if it's anything substantial, I'm going to be there as well. Going forward with the fire department, with these new positions, you might see that when we do our inspections going into the future, they're going to be a little bit more detailed. What we're trying to do is develop our pre-plans of all the buildings and facilities in the city to kind of house a little bit more detail and data than what we've had before. Because prior to recent years, we work off binders, like we're old school. We grab a binder out of a thing in the truck and we shuffle through it, find your building, and then in there we got copies of your floor plans, emergency call numbers, things like that. Well, we transitioned just within the last few months to mobile data terminals, similar to what EMS have, similar to what police department and sheriff's department have, that house all of our data for us, and we can access it quicker. We can plug more in there than what we've ever been able to do. So we have that capability now, so we're going to kind of develop that over the next few years. With that being said, the previous group, that also gives us the ability while en route to be able to gather as much information on whatever your incident might be. So when you do make that 911 phone call, don't hesitate to spill as much information as you can to that dispatcher, because that's coming automatically to us as she types it in, where it's popping up on our screen. So we have that capability as well now. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say about myself.
What Paul said last time is they might do a little more detailed inspection next time they come, just because they want to add information and details to their electronic system. So they might just add more details. One thing we were talking about for Adriano is identifying where all the fire extinguishers are throughout the building. Right now they're in Dwight's Head, and we need to get that on paper.
Well, and I just pulled that up on our software, one of the softwares that we have. We do have a map, but I don't have a date on it. I don't know how old it is, and it has fire extinguisher locations on it. It's pretty much everything in your entire facility. So
yeah,
we have that now, but
probably out of date.
It's probably dated.
Probably out of date. So that needs to be updated. And what Lisa mentioned is we do have from the tier 2 submission, we do have a sketch of the facility, and it wouldn't be too hard to put a little red dot. Very place there's the fire extinguisher.
I had tier 2 on our software as well.
Yeah, so you have two maps essentially, one older one,
Yep.
and then the tier 2 one. Okay. Thanks, Lisa, your turn. Thanks.
All right. So as Paul said, I'm Lisa Keeling. I'm the director over emergency management for the county, which is everything like large-scale emergency and disaster. But I'm also the director over the Department of Homeland Security, as well as 911 for the county. I am the intelligence liaison officer for the county, so I'm the go-between between FBI and our local law enforcement. And I'm also the regional representative over the 13 counties in north central Ohio, down to the state. So, in addition to all of that, the reason I'm here today is I'm also the emergency and information coordinator for everything hazmat related. So every facility that houses any sort of hazardous or extremely hazardous chemicals, as well as anything that runs on our rails, our roads, and if any time they would decide they want to start shipping in the bay, that'll be on me too. So if it's hazmat, it comes to me. So, I mean, I would say this is probably about the best is a definition of what we do, because it is very, it's a lot, but it encompasses, there's not much that happens in the county that our department isn't involved with. But most people don't even know that we exist, and it's only because you usually don't see me or one of my staff unless you had a really bad day. Something really bad has happened. But if you think about us, I always say, think of like a spoke of a wheel. EMA's in the middle with fire, law, EMS, and all of our other public safety and emergency response workers. We're all working together in collaboration. Our whole goal is always for our office is to, how do we keep the people that live here in Sandusky County, work here, and travel through here as safe as we possibly can. So we're involved in everything.
So did you walk here?
I didn't. I drove over only because I got to stop.
So where's your office at?
I am actually in the.
Are you not real close anymore?
No, I am. Still.
Okay.
My office, which most people don't even realize, I am in the basement underneath the jail. Most people don't even realize there is a basement under the jail, but everything under there is emergency management. So
I thought your office was right across the street. That's not true
that's the
anymore.
dispatch center.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I had a second office there. I no longer have to have a second office.
Okay.
So
So now it's close to put you in jail if they need to. Doesn't have to take you far.
I wish they would. I get a vacation. So
They don't have to take you far.
And I
in
wouldn't
case-
have to cook
in case
dinner.
you misbehave.
right, I just
Yeah.
walk upstairs. So
Okay.
yeah, but thanks, guys. It'll be interesting to talk through this with you
Yeah,
today.
thanks, Lisa. Please interrupt me anytime. Anybody, please, interrupt me anytime. I'm gonna try to facilitate a notification exercise. With the other group, we had somebody who actually called these emergency response people. And so I am looking for a willing volunteer, and one will be chosen if no one volunteers. Who would like to volunteer to actually make these calls? Great, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate your volunteer spirit. Good job. So we're going to do a tabletop exercise as well as a notification exercise. This is the scenario. And I got this actually from Reggie, who's not here unfortunately, but I did tell him we're going to use his example. He got this example pretty much, it was from Adriano's group, and they essentially, this did not happen here. Okay, this was what he heard from a driver, a TDI delivery driver. This happened at another facility, I don't know where. But apparently, and I did add to it to make it more interesting, okay? So essentially, a combination of errors results in a significant release of TDI during an unloading operation. During an unloading operation, there is a hose or connection that fails. In his situation, I think he said the line overpressurized. Somehow the line overpressurized. Hoses do fail. I don't know if you have a hose replacement, strategy. Every so often you replace the hose. Not a bad idea. Hoses do fail. Connectors do fail with time. And so anyway, this had a hose failure. About 100 gallons of TDI was escaped. It did go to the ground, and unfortunately, they did not disconnect the sump pump. And so as it filled up in that sump, it was pumped into the adjacent drainage ditch, onto that grassy, weedy area just on the, adjacent to the unloading area. That's our scenario. Again, big bad scenario, obviously, it's never happened. Hopefully it never will happen, but we want to be prepared in case it does happen. So we're going to now do a notification exercise. You've got a piece of paper there. When we do a notification exercise, the objectives is just to become familiar with how to notify, become comfortable with dialing 911 and other agencies. Whenever you do this, you always have to say that line on the bottom there. This is a drill. You don't want them to think it's an actual emergency. And so, okay, so there's a big bad spill. Reggie comes in, says something happened. He talks to you. Brandon, who do you call inside the facility? Would you call anybody else?
In the facility, am I out or am I in?
Let's say you're in the facility. This is a day shift.
Okay.
You know, Reggie's here, you're unloading TDI, which you usually do during the day. So you're here too. Would you call anybody else? Would you notify anybody else?
Yeah, based on the severity of the situation, I would probably call 911 first before notifying the plant manager.
Okay.
To know what's going on.
Great.
You would be my first call. You want first responders here as quick as possible.
Good.
So,
Let's dial 911. You got your phone, don't you?
I'm on nights and weekends, so I don't know if I have the minutes for that.
Say again?
I don't have the minutes for that. I'm not on my nights and weekends plan right now.
Can you use your phone?
Yes, I can. That's a joke.
Okay. I was gonna say, that sounds weird, but I wasn't sure. Went right over my head. Okay, first 911.
Nobody had 3 minutes after nights and weekends? You guys remember that?
Right over that.
Put it on speaker,
Oh, yeah,
would you,
stay on
Brandon?
age, right?
Put it on speaker so we can all hear. First thing you say is what?
The drill. And then there's a scenario.
Yeah, you could say we're doing a spill scenario with Woodbridge Corporation. It won't be a long conversation. They'll probably just say, okay, thanks.
Okay, then just hang up. Do I notify him of the situation that we're making up?
You don't have to.
Okay, just call and say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take notes.
This is a drill. I am calling from Woodbridge, Fremont.
Okay. Do you need anything from us?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you. Call
Okay,
911.
what would happen if this were an emergency, a real emergency? I'm gonna look at Lisa over here. What questions would they ask you if this were a real emergency? Or Paul, let's contribute.
My answer, you want me to?
Again, since this is the drill, they just said, okay, thanks. But if it was actual call.
That's also because I don't know if you can hear the siren in the back, that's a 911 call coming in, like a real emergency coming in.
Yeah.
So, that's how you always, like, any of us, if we're on the phone with dispatch, that's how we know when they have a real life call going on and we're just trying to give them an update over the phone. We're gonna cut that short because they have a real emergency. So they would actually start running through, or should start running you through like a checklist of questions, like, do you know how much, where in the facility, is anyone injured, do you know the chemical? They're gonna start to try to get you through that initial information that they wanna know, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna start taking that information and forwarding it on to the fire department and EMS while they're en route. The more information that you can give them about the situation going on, the better. Because fire and EMS, they can already start formulating a plan in their head as you're providing that dispatcher information. They're pushing that to them and they can start formulating a plan. Meeting location, and I think I forgot to mention that in the last round. Who's meeting somebody and where are they meeting? Always very important to tell the dispatcher because, once again, you could say, this happened at our dock. That dispatcher works in a room that has 4 walls, no windows. They have no idea where your dock is at. So if you're saying, well, we need them to meet at the front door, Okay, but if you're telling them anywhere else that is not the front door of the facility, they may not know where that's at. Or they may not know where that spill's at. So if you need fire or EMS to come to a very specific location, you need to tell them where they're going, but you also need to tell them who's meeting them there. Because if they just show up and there's nobody from the facility to meet them there, they're gonna start wandering around trying to figure out who they're supposed to be talking to. And at no point when you're talking a hazardous chemical, you don't want them ever walking into the hot zone and not knowing it because no one met them wherever they were supposed to meet them. So.
Will they ask that question? Where would be the meeting location, or would we have to take the initiative to specify?
It depends. I mean, it's easier if you just tell them where the meeting location and to say, you know, Supervisor Brandon is gonna meet you at the front sidewalk or in the middle of the road or wherever it is that you're gonna have them meet. Sometimes they're busy, like I said, you know, you heard that. I mean, that happens every day all day long, as well as all the other that's going on inside of there all the time. So, for them to always remember every single question, they do have a checklist, but it's easy for them to skip over, especially when you're trying to give them information and they're trying to check the checklist. So it's just easier if you provide it.
Okay, I'm gonna assume, Brandon, you're the incident commander, even though you probably would not fill that role. Where would you suggest meeting them? Who would meet them there?
I would probably meet them there, and we would meet as close as possible to where the incident happens, so right in front of the building.
In the front of the building?
Yeah, load area,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, would there be a concern, I'm just asking everybody maybe, that the front of the building is too close to the unloading area for this amount of spill?
Is it inside your hot zone?
That's a good question. It's one of the
If you're
tricky-
within your hot or warm zone.
Here's I'm gonna show this
suggest meeting
slide.
there.
Sorry.
That would just be my,
Here's your 50 meters. We're gonna show the slide later on. That's your 50 meters, so, I mean, you can see they're kind of driving through the 50 meters. That 50 meters is from, we're gonna talk about this later on today, from the emergency response guidebook.
This side of the road in front of the building.
I would say maybe meet them out here, or tell them, please use the second entrance, and meet them down here. Just a thought, okay? That is within the emergency response guidebook suggests for a TDI spill, I think it's 2078, I'm not positive, 50 meters, so that's your 50 meter circle.
So we're gonna get the information of a spill outside the building. If you didn't already ask the question, or we're gonna find out what's the wind direction, that kind of thing. And chances are we would automatically go to the second for a known spill outside the building. But you guys need to provide that information, not just, oh, we had a spill, okay? If we don't know that it's out in the loading dock, or it could be inside, we're gonna take that first entrance and then drive right to the hot zone. So just keep stuff like that in mind, just provide as much information as possible. And then in real time, we're getting that as we come. Because as soon as they take it in, it's getting pushed out.
Yeah, so you would delegate to somebody to meet them, probably not you, as incident commander, and you would say, you know, Joe Blow is gonna meet you at the second entrance to the facility on the, you know, so. Okay, anything else? 911 calls. They're gonna ask, I know when we did this at another facility, they asked, what's your placard number on the truck? And I think it's 2078, is that correct? Anybody know?
2078.
Okay, yeah, Reggie's not here, he probably know for sure. So, anyway, so what's next, Brandon? You dial 911, the ambulance, and, oh, let me say one more thing. If you go back to that spill scenario, one thing that Reggie said yesterday is there was a kind of like a bulk amount of TDI that kind of exploded out of the line because it was overpressurized, and the guy's face mask, he was here, something's happened. He puts his face mask on, it's saturated and got all kinds of TDI on it. So now he's got, perhaps TDI in his face, perhaps injury situation. So that might be somebody else you would notify when you dial 911. Has anybody heard? Yes, one person has had TDI exposed to your face. Again, that really happened not at this facility, thank God, but another one. So who would be the next person you call, Brandon?
already called 911, I've notified the plant manager, LEPC or the EPA.
You tell me, what do you think?
LEPC.
Okay, LAPC, good job. Aren't you happy, Lisa?
Yeah. They forgot
So-
the first round.
So, what I have here, they did forget the first round. What I have here is this, and we have already made some adjustments to this. Okay? So, what we noted from the last notification exercise is we have the wrong number on this. Calling the actual, where is it at? The Ohio Local Emergency Planning Committee for Sandusky County is not really the right place to call. Is that correct, Lisa? Did I get
Well,
that
I mean,
right?
you can, but that's only gonna be answered during daytime hours.
Oh, that's right, that's what it was.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's exactly what it was.
24-hour number is always better to use just because you only have to list one number.
So we do have now a 24-hour LEPC number, and it's not the one up there. You can call here if you wish.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that, control document too, that form number to see if there's a revised version. Is that posted in the,
That is from the operations room down there,
Okay.
the operations control room, I guess.
And I'll see if we have an updated one. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I'll give you some things to update with, for sure. So you want to call that 24-hour number then?
We'll call it right now.
I would.
Okay.
You can call this right now. If you
What?
know the 24-hour number, I'm answering.
So your phone's gonna ring?
Yeah,
That's good.
okay.
I want to see your phone ring.
Believe me, it rings all the time. It's been ringing since we've been here.
So you are the 24-hour LAPC number? Okay. Pretend Lisa's not here, okay?
Since 2020.
This is a drill.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was quick and easy. What was that number again, Brandon?
That was the quickest note.
419-680-6994.
6994?
Yep. You're
Okay.
gonna send all this information to me. Should we do that, Paul?
What?
You're gonna send all this?
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
24-hour number. Okay, who you gonna call next? I'm gonna summarize all this and get you some, recommendations, or kind of so you can document we did this too. Who's you gonna call next?
See, 911, notified my plant manager, LEPC, notify the Ohio EPA.
Sounds good to me.
Call that one too.
Yeah, you'll notice, I think we have the wrong number there too, is that correct?
You do, those are not the spot hotline numbers.
Yeah, so you can see my notes, maybe you can find another number on there.
Alright,
We initially called this one, and I think that was an error. And so, this is the hotline right there. Okay? So see what that does for you. My notes are 1 page.
Ohio EPA emergency response.
this is a drill, calling from Woodbridge and Fremont.
Okay,
Alright, thank you.
sure.
Bye. You guys get that a lot? Other facilities calling your drills? You just have to say, okay, thanks.
We prefer that no one calls, I prefer personally that no one calls my 911 system without notifying us first, that they're gonna do that, so I can give them a heads up. Just because they'll put someone to do nothing but answer those calls, but yeah, it does happen, where people are doing a drill and they wanna check their notification numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, who are you gonna do next? What number did you call again?
That was the 614-224-0946.
Okay.
That was the
Ohio EPA 24 emergency response number. Who are you gonna call next? Now, before you do this, let's talk about the spill response, or the spill scenario again. Where am I at here? Where am I at? Sorry, guys. There. Okay, 100 gallons were spilled. Anybody know what the reportable quantity is for TDI? Any guess? Any guess? It's 100 pounds. 100 pounds. You knew that? Yeah, you did answer.
Said it yesterday.
You made, I know, you're making me look bad.
Said it yesterday. It's
You're
exactly
making me
9
look bad, come
It's actually
on.
9 gallons or 11 gallons.
Okay, yes, we talked about this. So 100 pounds, and it's about 11 pounds per gallon. It means about 9 gallons would be the reportable quantity. And so if you release more than the reportable quantity into the environment, you are required, obligated to notify the EPA Emergency Response Center and the Ohio Emergency Response number. So you did Ohio, you did the local ones, you did the LEPC. Now who are you going to do, Brandon? Okay, that's okay.
Okay, 911.
EPA National Response Center.
LEPC, EPA.
Here, let me show this. I'm sorry, I don't have the slide up here. There it is.
Oh, okay.
My bad. So there you can see it, the number.
NRC.
NRC, National Response Center. So when you call them, the first, it's going to have a number of options. The first option is if this is an actual spill, push 1. The second option is if you're updating something within 48 hours, because if there's a big bad spill, you've got to do an update after 48 hours. Push 2. If this a spill response drill, push 3. So don't push 1. Wait till push 3. Okay? And they'll just take the note. They'll mention who you're talking to.
Thank you for calling the National Response Center. For English, press 1. Para información primero. The NRC is the National Communications Center for reporting oil, chemical, biological, and radiological discharges to the environment, as well as the reporting center for maritime security and railroad incidents. If your call involves a medical emergency or life-threatening situation, please call 911 for instant notification. Please listen carefully to the following menu options. If you are calling to report an actual incident or potential discharge of oil or release of hazardous materials, please press 1. If you are calling to make an update, correction, or 48-hour update, please press 2. If you are calling to report a drill or exercise, please press 3. If state that you are reporting a drill or exercise to the one standard, your call is important to us. Please continue to hold for the next one standard. If state that you are reporting a drill or exercise to the one standard, your call is important to us. Please continue to hold for the next one standard. If state that you are reporting a drill or exercise to the one standard, your call is important to us. Please continue to hold for the next one standard.
Well, I would say since we already called with the first group, we've already documented that we've done this, you can hang up. Okay? If we had not documented that we already called with the first group, I would say let's hold on and make sure that they have a record that we called. Okay? So, obviously, if it's an actual spill, you're not pushing 3, you're pushing 1. This is an actual spill. And they'll probably have a whole series of questions similar to what the 911 people had. And answer them as best you can. If you don't know the answers, I don't know. Okay? Good. Any questions, comments, thoughts from anybody? Lisa, Paul, we had some good discussion on the last one because we refined the numbers actually during the first notification exercise. Any thoughts, comments, questions?
Waterway question will be a big one. Is there potential for it to run waterway? That'll be for both should be dispatched will absolutely be me and will be Ohio EPA, always, that question. And it's simply because a lot of factories and facilities have like manhole drains, things inside their facility that drain maybe out to a ditch or drain to a catch basin that then gets filtered and then regardless at the end of the day, under state law, a ditch is a waterway.
Yep.
So if it goes, if there is a potential for it to go off-site into a ditch, then yes. And so when that question is asked, we have to say yes. Only because for us, it triggers some other potential notifications. That the quicker we can make them, the better it is for everybody.
So even though it's, I mean, if you have 100 gallons, it's not gonna flow across under that burial probably. It might, but I don't think it would. Even though it's a dry, hot day, it's not flowing off, yes, that is a waterway, like she said. So that is water, technically, waters of the state. And so that does require an absolute notification. So, what else was I gonna say? Something else and I forgot. Anyway, hopefully it'll come up.
I was gonna add in on that though too, is, for you to put in or whoever has your facility, if you know that rain is coming in, like soon. So I mean, most people know when weather's coming, but if you know that like, okay, the snow happened in the parking lot, but it's gonna be raining in the next 20 minutes, you're probably gonna wanna say, it's in the parking lot now, however, when it starts raining in 20 minutes, it's going to be in the ditch because of the runoff. And then it puts it into the water.
Good. The other question that we had, which just so you know, is the idea, I mean, a spill of this size, wherever that page is again, a spill of this size would be rather difficult, if not impossible, for you all to respond to properly. Where are we going here? 100 gallons off-site, you're gonna wanna get a emergency response contractor in here probably. They're gonna have to get a backhoe, they're gonna have to do a lot of sampling. We were talking about arrangements with an off-site emergency response contractor. And we'll talk more about that, Brandon, but that's also something we need to kind of make sure we have at least somebody that we know to call versus here's your list of 24 that Lisa gives us when she comes to the site. We know, no, we're going to talk to this person. We've already talked to them. They know about this kind of thing. Okay, great. Any other comments on the notification exercise? You know, I know you guys are sad that you weren't able to make these calls yourself, but you know what? We're going to do this every year, so somebody else can do it next year. Isn't that exciting? So we all get to take our turn calling 911 and the emergency response centers. So, okay, let's do this. What time is it? What time do I got here? Oh, we're doing a little bit late. I do have another sheet there. Let's break up into, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, I'm going to assume 12 groups. 12, so one group of 3, one group of 4, and another group of 4. And maybe you guys can go to one group and I'll go to one group. Is that okay? And so we're going to just talk through how we're going to respond to this. Same form we used yesterday. So for Adriano, it might be very, very similar to what you did yesterday. Because you were, or whoever took your spill response, then another group. So where are you going to stay there, Paul? I'll go to this one. Is that okay? So it's you 3, and then it's us here, us 4. You're this way. Sorry. Okay, so somebody who's going to write clearly needs to take notes. Let me get my phone so I can keep track of time.
Quinn, Dr. Quinn. Quinn's got us. Dr. Q has. Group leader. Oh.
You can be the group leader, just put your name.
This is Eli, this is Sawyer, I'm Lewis.
All right. Nice to meet you guys. Alright. So it happened.
whatever you call that, they call it the off-road guy.
So who's our note taker? Who's our clear right taker? Thank you for your volunteer spirit. We don't really look at the first page, that's kind of, if you want, you can add stuff to it, but let's look more at the second page. What are we gonna do with this type of spill? Again, it's never happened, hopefully it never will, but we wanna be prepared in the event that it does.
100 gallons.
Where did this spill? They describe the location. So we're just.
So, who's the incident commander?
We're doing that.
Okay, good. Don't worry about that. Okay. Where's the incident command post?
We're all doing the same scenario, right?
Yes, everybody's doing the same scenario, thanks for asking.
What?
No Red Bull, that's right. That wasn't entertaining, I'll say. So where's gonna be the incident command post? Where would you think?
Yeah.
On the entrance area?
This is the command post. I mean, crash car would be.
This is the incident command, this is not your decon area, this is the incident
This
command
was
post.
the topic of the main discussion as the last one. So you have about 150 feet.
I don't think so.
Yeah, determine a hot zone first.
Yeah, you
Then you
got,
gotta make
your hot zone is gonna be about 150 from the actual
The
spill.
spill
So as
continuous
long
or
as
otherwise?
wherever you're
Is that like
talking
a
about
continuous thing?
is outside of that,
Yeah, that would make.
outside the warm
So just the hose is actually failure.
then okay.
That would've been flowing
But
out
then
the
you
entire
also
time.
gotta take
If it was
into
all at
account
once, it would've been like tipped
Wind
over, it
direction,
all
you gotta
spilled
take into
out.
account HVAC systems. If you have a plume or vapor that's outside from the spill, but then it's gonna get sucked in by HVAC up on the rooftop, it's gonna push it through the building. Is the building necessarily the best place to have your incident command post? So it's better to be
What
more
would you think?
cautious than not.
Any gut guess, you flip it over, draw something on the back if you want.
All those things kind of come into play. That's what I would advise, is that way everybody's, you know they're outside the building, they're in the clear, and then you can work yourself.
Would it be
in
the
from
warm or
there.
the hot?
But it's better to stay
Okay.
more cautious than not cautious.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I would say.
The emergency response guidebook says 50 meters, so that's pretty much it. If that's your loading area.
And then that could be also, we discussed earlier, like when you make that 911 call, if there's any question, you can ask 911, like, what's the wind direction? Southwest, okay. You wanna get on the windward side of it.
Yeah.
So if they give you, that.
But if it's a day shift, they say there's 7.
Navigate. Talked about.
7 during a day shift.
Possible spots.
If it's an unloading operation,
Evacuation points.
probably during a day shift.
But for the sake of this, okay, great.
Well, yeah, did they say the wind direction? Did he give the?
He did have a, on the, there's a.
Yeah.
The wind directions from
Just,
southwest.
I'd say level B.
Typically,
You
yeah.
want to detail what that is, you can?
Quite a lot of people.
Is it continuous? Would you define this as continuous?
Given wind direction and everything, if it's coming from, north wind, then yeah, we're probably gonna have HVAC pulling that vapor right into the building and pumping it throughout. But your typical south-southwest wind. Yeah.
Why is it located here?
I would say if there's somebody out there
Ease of access.
and that happens, let's say it's Reggie or the driver, you got a driver may not know this, but Reggie should know.
I just.
Hey, I'm gonna hit that e-stop as I run. Ideally, you know what I mean? But if not, you're right, you're gonna have to dress up maybe to do that.
Where'd you put it at? Going inside the building.
I mean, the pressure's gotta go down from the truck. So, I mean, even though you push the e-stop and it stops the pressurizing process, it's not gonna go back to the ambient pressure in 0 time.
But it's gonna be straight out here.
once it's low, we take the seat off, sit wait, or sit out there.
Okay.
You know, but if it happens, you're not suited up.
Yes.
You have to run in the hot zone to suit up, you know, because you put your shoes right inside of the
Your
door.
hot zone is
Okay.
150.
So, I mean, it's not gonna be a quick stop, it's gonna be.
It might,
Warm zone
yeah.
would be
So,
obviously
is there another
outside
way
the hot
to
zone.
stop the pressure? Can you shut off the air compressor?
No, I mean, from the truck, if you have the truck open, it's gonna continue to flow. And
Is the air pressure, does the air pressure come from the building, not from the truck?
For you guys.
So I would think you would be able to, if I'm not mistaken, somehow shut down the air
The
compressor.
back of the truck's open, isn't it gravity?
No, I think if I'm not mistaken, those trucks, the trucks have a pipe that goes down and it's pressurized up over the top. I think, in other words, I think the pipe goes up and back down versus just,
It would just be
but I might be wrong.
I know you said it's 150 yards away, you jack the back of the feet to open it up, so.
Maybe you're right, maybe you're right, I don't know. I don't know how the trucks are designed.
I mean,
Maybe get our crash code, maybe get our crash code.
So what you're saying is, it might keep on flowing even after the pressure's
So that's
decreased.
within 100 feet of
Yeah.
the.
That would be
I guess it would do it.
into that, or joint.
I mean, err on the side of caution, maybe use
Yeah, I don't know.
your respirators to get it. And then,
So,
do you guys have air monitoring? So then base your response off of that, because that's what we're gonna do, probably determine our run zone, cold zone based off the air monitoring.
pretty much everybody notified, yeah. I like
So
what they
that
said, do
plays right into
911
PPE
first.
necessary.
911 first, then the plant manager, then the EPA, then the LEPC,
Location,
then the EPA.
you know, hot zone, warm zone. Where your temps are gonna be to try and mitigate the situation.
Right outside of me.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
at least,
your
yeah.
perimeter outside of
And
my
then your respirator. Outside of that, you probably need them.
Thank you for writing clearly.
It's how it's not to contain
It's all comes with him.
that or shut the truck off, shut the pump off.
Okay, what's the next page?
Who's notified of external changes, remember that, 911 starts the process.
All right, Jamie,
We're handling this color.
this is that corner of the building,
You
comes
can
in
make the
here.
steps and call.
Corner,
You're still gonna have, yeah, actually, you guys have to let's call it federal.
if you're inside the
But
building.
quite honestly, you get your turnaround.
Good.
Outside scene, like the turnaround scene,
Flexible.
it's organic.
Now, you want it right by the hot, right by the hot zone.
Yes.
50 meters.
Yes.
You want it upwind or downwind?
That needs to be, notification needs to happen to.
Obviously
it's
upwind.
kinda-
Obviously upwind.
Well, neighbors,
I mean, you don't have the slide yet.
yeah.
I can put the slide up there with the windrows, but the wind generally comes from the other, the adjacent property over to your property.
It's basically, yeah,
So if it were me, I would say go
when I
up
get
on
on
that
scene,
grass
fire department's
area.
on scene, we're gonna
And
find
they
out
do it up there.
exactly what.
50 meters from the
My
spill.
immediate call is gonna be to.
You know what I'm talking about? You have the unloading area, then you have a electrical, what do you call it, transformer? And then behind the transformer, maybe somewhere back there, about 50 meters from the, assuming that's the wind direction.
Would you worry about drawing anything? Probably
something like that.
foundation established, materials used.
Depends on your wind, and generally they say 50 meters,
Earth
150,
material, your,
half a football field.
whatever you guys typically use for
Yeah, that's true.
contaminant or
Just nothing about it.
containment of these chemicals. Heat solar, absorbent pads.
How do you decount? What do you do?
So we've got the.
We're gonna do, I mean, initially we house booms, pads, stuff like that on our trucks, but once the hazmat gets there, I mean, maybe oodles and oodles of bigger trailers.
Yes.
And then if it does, you know, get into.
How about 2 more minutes? That sound okay?
You're gonna have To come in, and they're gonna bring in, like we said, backhoes, stuff like that, they're gonna remove dirt, replace dirt, like ditches.
Yeah, we're gonna do that actually in the practical exercise. Last thing we do today.
I don't know, I mean, it all depends on who's day. It all depends on how this stuff's spread. You got 100 gallons, how much area is that gonna
Big
cover?
spill like this, definitely more than the bags.
I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know.
255 gallon drums, so they're flat on the ground. How far can it go?
Depends on the, you know, the landscape. but
So it's going,
So your dock out there, it's curved. Do we know how much material it's designed to hold? Which is,
I'd say two people cleaning, one guy giving them a water, and one monitoring their health. It's a hot sunny day, it's
Those rates burn.
oh, I know, you're
Is the
absolutely right.
sub
The one where
capable
you were out there,
Depending on the
well,
flow.
they
they got showed that
work,
video, when you were out there.
I imagine it would be.
should,
1,000 gallons of water that's underneath before it actually breaks down.
That's like Dwight, you know who Dwight is, right? Maintenance supervisor.
yeah, he was
Yeah, he was
on.
over
Scenario that
I
if
didn't
it's
come up with that.
flowing enough into
No, I didn't think to
the
ask,
tank,
you should.
then it won't overflow.
I mean,
Every chemical storage has an extra tank that has.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, the flow rate.
Pump it out of that sump, probably.
I'm curious whether the sump had the capability of containing a truck's worth of product. It does.
Should all be collected in the,
1,000 gallons.
containment tank.
So as long as you're, turn your pump off, you should, you know, in theory, be
Up over to the drainage ditch.
safe from any water.
The one here runs backwards. You have to physically turn it on. There's not a float switch.
Seems like there'd be some constant movements or
But we don't have that actually.
pressure or something that would trip that.
Drum back.
So, contaminated materials stored, decomposed.
Negative pressure to the ground and
Your own
makes the vacuum.
company that you use to contract with.
And then.
The lease is gonna provide a list of 25 or so companies. My recommendation to the previous group was somebody do your
Probably gonna have a lot of
research,
stuff.
see what their capabilities are,
We're
check
responsive, that's
pricing,
right, so we don't have to
check response, time, capability, what they're willing to
that is
contract,
not
and say we
probably.
could be there in an hour.
Yeah, you hook that up, my understanding is you hook that
5
up.
hours.
County
That
health.
has a vacuum right on it.
Balance it and see what costs to benefit. And then
I have seen some where you
determine who
actually
that
hook a drum up
company's
to
gonna be now.
a line
Just
that
in
makes a
case.
vacuum.
Oh, yeah.
It
Or
would
you
happen.
might have some kind
Because
of,
the last thing you
you have
wanna do
an air
is try and
compressor, you have
go shopping
another line that's
on the phone
negative
with
pressure.
25 different companies where you got to spill
Yeah, I don't
to
know,
pick the best
I don't know, that's a good question.
Because some of them might not want to mess with TPI, and others will say, yeah, no problem. So, just, I would
Stop, I'm
recommend
gonna get everybody together.
getting somebody.
Hey guys, let's do a quick presentation. Somebody from your group kind of share what you came up with. You know, do about 1 or 2 minutes, not too long. And then we'll age group kind of do that. And then let me have the nice printed copy that you guys, somebody made a nice visible copy. So how about this, you guys want to go first, Brandon?
We're not done yet.
Well, why don't you do what you did?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Well, let me ask, can you guys stay longer, or do you have to leave it at 11, you guys? Do you guys have to leave at 11, or?
A little bit.
Yeah, so let's just go on, let's go with where we're at, okay? We can add to it if we want to.
Okay.
You can go.
Oh, you're good? Okay. What chemical spilled? TDI. Where did the spill occur? Chemical unload area. What caused the spill? There was a hose connection failure. How much was spilled? 100 gallons. Was the spill contained? Well, circle no, but I would say yes if it's contained within that unload area into the tank. As long as we got to the sump pump in time, to where it didn't go over to the drainage ditch. It was a continuous spill. And what shift does this spill occur? Afternoons. Just like rain and stuff now. Did this ever happen? No. How likely do you think the type of spill is? Very unlikely. Emergency incident commander, that'd be me. Whereas the incident command post, we decided to put it in the employee parking lot. Why was the incident command post located here? Ease of access outside the hot zone with windbreak from the building in case the wind changes direction. Where the zone's designated, hot zone 50 meters from the TDI spill, warm zone perimeter outside of the hot zone, greater than 50 meters. How many emergency responders are required? We put about 10 to 12. What type of PPE is necessary? All will be above, level B. If the spill is continuous, how is it stopped and contained? Depressurized, spill collected into the tank. Who was notified of the spill? Everyone, smiley face. 911, EPC, EPA, NRC, and then offsite contractor, plant manager. Then where is the decontamination area established? And that's going to be in your warm zone as close to the hot zone as possible, and that's as far as.
Okay, that was speed report. Good job. Thank you, sir. Anybody else from the second group where I was at? Thank you.
We start on the second page. Who's the emergency incident commander? I am. Where's the incident command post? We put the employee entrance just because it's kind of, what I'll explain here. Why was the incident command post located here? Safe distance from the hot zone. It's kind of an area where the TDI is not going to go up over the building. So where the zone is designated, we didn't get that one. How many emergency responders are required? We put 7, should be on first shift. And what type of PPE? Level B. And if the spill is continuous, how is it stopped and contained? Suit up as soon as possible. Engage emergency stop on the truck. The question is though, if we can't stop it on the truck, can we stop it from the building? I mean, I think it might still drain if there's no pressure to it, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So, who is notified of the spill? Everyone, 911, plant manager, LNBC, EPA, National EPA. And where is the decontamination area established? We put upwind 50 meters. How is the decontamination established? With the sprayer, neutralizer brush, plastic wrap, or plastic tarp, kiddie pool, 10 by 10, and number of people assigned to the decon team, at least 3. Is it necessary to establish a decon team leader? We put yes. How is the spill cleaned up? Sump pump, door ball, and a drum vac, decontamination spray. Contaminated material stored. We put metal 55-gallon drums labeled and with the banks on it or the lid not fully fastened. So that's part of the
How about the other group? Last group. Somebody want to? Thank you.
So our chemical spill was TDI. It was at the chemical loading bay, and the cause of the spill was the overpressured hose or bad fittings. It was about 100 gallons spilled. The spill was not contained because it was just kind of everywhere. The spill was all at once, just all came out after the hose got overpressurized. The spill occurred on shift 1, first shift. This has happened, obviously not to us, but to other plants, and it's very unlikely. The incident commander is Eli. The command post would be the employee parking lot. The incident command post is located there because it was far enough away from the hot zone, and we don't have to worry about the HVAC pulling into the building or the wind carrying it around the building. The hot zone is about 50 feet away, and then the warm zone is up to about 150 feet away. We had about 15 emergency responders that would be required, and the type of PPE necessary is level B for the hot zone. We made sure to stop the spill or any extra spillage by shutting off the pump and turning off the air pressure. And then we notified and called 911 and the LEPC and the EPA. We established the decontamination area using absorbent pads, plastic bags, 55-gallon drums, and neutralizer. It was probably about a 20-ish square foot area. And then we had this spill cleaned up the rest of the way by a contractor. And that's as far as we got.
Thanks. I'm gonna talk a little bit about maybe how, I know you guys probably didn't have time to think through all this stuff. If you had a spill of that size that did get into the drainage ditch, I think one of the first things you might want to do is send somebody off to get some more ammonia and detergent. You're going to need a lot of neutralization agent. You know, what you're going to have on site is not going to be enough to neutralize it. So send somebody off to Walmart, buy some more ammonia, buy some more detergent so you can mix up more neutralizing agent. You're going to have to probably dig up that trench area. I mean, the way to do that, or that drainage ditch area, you're going to have to get a backhoe out there. And the way you do that is put plastic down. That's why you need some plastic. You might want to pile up the soil as you get it, neutralize it as they do it maybe, put some neutralizing agent on there, and then put some plastic over it once you're done. So you've got like a waste pile. This is all hazardous waste. Okay, you're going to have to get rid of that as a hazardous waste. You're going to get a truck in there, it's going to take that whole thing out and all the plastic, and you might have to decon it. A good question might be, that's the trench area. If you guys want to add anything, please feel free. You guys have seen this more than I have. What about that sump? How are you going to clean out that sump with all that TDI in there? Good. Any thoughts?
Contractor, hire one.
Well, you know, a contractor would probably be the one to do it. And they would probably pump it out into drums, and you might neutralize it in the drum, you might not, you might set it off as unneutralized TDI. As long as you don't add any neutralizing agent, in theory it should not be reacting, so it shouldn't be pressurizing. You could have TDI in a drum, no neutralizing agent, and it's not going to necessarily increase pressure. I'm not sure, and that's kind of my gut feeling. But yeah, a contractor would probably do that. They'd probably pump it out. They'd probably maybe put neutralizing agent down in there. Then they'd probably pump it out again, this time in the drums. And then they'd probably power wash it, pump it out again, and somehow clean it out really well. So it's going to be, you're not going to be bringing any new shipments in for a day or so, I would say, probably. So those are just my gut feelings, my gut thoughts on a spill of that size. Yeah, Paul.
When you say no shipments, how often do you guys get a truck?
3 times a week?
Yeah, like about 3 times a week.
Yeah, polyol is in
2 or 3.
2, 3, yeah. Yeah, so it might disrupt operations a bit. We were talking earlier too about just evacuating the building. I don't know if you want to talk about this a little bit, Paul, or not. You want me to?
Go ahead. I had some questions earlier in regards to whether or not you should evacuate the building initially. Me being on the fire department, we always err on the side of caution, and we would probably request that, and then work our way back in, if that makes sense. Like, always be as safe as possible, and then if we learn more about the situation, okay, we can let people back into a certain portion of the building. Once we make that determination, we would use air monitoring devices, which you guys, I found out, have here. We also have them, and that's how we would kind of come to that determination. But initially, I think, even though it happened outside rather than inside, I think an evacuation would be appropriate until we make the determination that there is safe areas of the building to put people back into. Of course, we're in Ohio, So, and this happens in December or January, to be a bit uncomfortable, but everybody could possibly get in their vehicles and, you know, to stay warm or whatnot during that time frame until we make that determination. But for me, and I, you know, most of my individuals would probably make that call as well, which is initially, you know, evacuation would be warranted until we make the, you know, determine where the safe zones are.
I mean, you guys might know this, you might not. Cold TDI will not flow. It's pretty thick sometimes. And so if it's on a hot summer day though, it's gonna be a lot different. It's gonna act a lot differently. This slide kind of shows you what they call the windrows. You'll see the slide a little bit later on. Here's your unloading area. There's your 50-meter radius, which is what the emergency response guidebook says should be the hot zone. Without, you know, before you do monitoring, you might want to change that once you do monitoring. What are you gonna say?
I just thought of something too, with the proximity you are to the business right next door, I mean, you would have to have them give us a call to notify them, hey, your parking lot's
I know.
within our hot zone.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. This wind zone, this is the direction where the wind comes from. So it's mostly coming from this direction, okay? A lot of times it's coming from this direction, rarely coming from this direction, okay? And so if you look at that, well, your flagpoles are here, that's pretty much right downwind, isn't it? And so what we talked about is maybe setting up an alternate rallying point for evacuation in the event of a spill outside. Maybe like rally point A, rally point B, you know, something like that, just in case there is a spill like that. The other option would be the emergency coordinator. If they all start gathering down here and you're starting to smell smells, smell odors, smell TDI, well then you're obviously going to want to move everybody over here to a maybe more, I'll say, less downwind area. One of the groups from the morning group, they said, I thought this was an excellent idea. Most of you guys seem to say put your incident command post here. Not a bad choice. Boy, I think the unloading office is a better choice though. You know, because you got offices down there, you've got phones down there, you've got copy machines, you've got all you need right down there in the shipping office. A little bit further away, and you've got a lot of access to a lot more stuff that an incident command post might need. Another thing that came up is, I get the two groups mixed up, but I think we talked about when you, tell me if this was the early group or not, when you do the 911 call, you need to know, oh no, we did do that. You didn't tell them to go into the second entrance. That was in this group, wasn't it? No, was that the first group? Okay. Well, one thing that we talked about is when you do the 911 call, you might want to say, hey, John Smith is going to meet you at the second exit. You know, that might not be one of their questions. But if you don't do that, they're going to come and, well, they're right there in that hot zone. And so if necessary, notify the 911 operator, and this will get onto the fire truck and get onto the ambulance or whoever else. Go into the second exit, and John Smith or Joe Blow is going to meet you down there. And kind of tell them, and then, you know, they'll be coming in not necessarily in the bad spot. Anything else you might want to add to some of that stuff? Kind of close out stuff?
One thing we didn't talk about in this group, but we touched on it in the first, is try to have your designated person for one or two people calling 911. What we see a lot of times when there's an emergency at a facility, everybody in the row that works on, especially when it's on first shift, everybody wants to call 911. And what you'll do is you actually will put our system into a rollover where it'll start, we're interconnected with Wood and Ottawa County. The problem is that if there's so many 911 calls being generated coming from a facility for an emergency, Wood and Ottawa have no idea who Woodbridge is. Now, 9 times out of 10, the dispatcher over here answering the call knows who Woodbridge is. They've heard the name, they've heard something, but another county wouldn't. So they're now getting rollover calls. So I would say if you can try to keep that to a minimum, we talked about in the first group, even if just whoever called 911 yells out, hey, I already called 911, nobody else needs to. Something that triggers so we don't end up with all of our shift trying to call 911.
Yeah, what we said is anybody on the emergency response team should feel the liberty to dial 911, but let others know that you've done that. You don't want to just say, oh, only Brandon can call. No, if Brandon's at home or somebody else, anybody can call. But let others on the shift know so that they're not getting 4 or 5 calls. That's essentially what she said. Anything else? Any comments, input from anybody? One question that came up now that Reggie's here, I might ask, this came up in our group, is Reggie, if there was, let's say the hose exploded, would the truck continue to flow, or does the truck go up and then down to the exit point? Do you know?
It'll continue to flow out.
It would continue to flow out. So we could potentially, in something like that, situation like that, if you can't close the valve to the truck, you could lose the whole truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I thought the truck kind of, maybe I'm thinking of rail cars, where they go up and then they come down. So, okay,
If you lose the whole truck,
okay.
or whatever's left in there.
You do have a shut off in front of the truck and the back.
Do they, so then Reggie or the driver could in theory shut off from the front of the truck a valve that would shut off the flow? Okay.
Just an outlet.
Well, we're both in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or if he's up front and hears it pouring out, he's out front.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully when you're running out, running away, you shut off that valve if you could, you know?
So what's the mechanism that it's pumped out with? Is it with an actual physical pump with an impeller, or is it through air pressure?
Air pressure.
What's air pressure?
So they can shut down the air pressure relatively easily, correct?
Yeah, but it's still flowing that.
It'd still take a while for the flow to get down, but then the gravity flow would still let it escape, right?
Yeah, plus the air that's already built up.
Yeah, it'd take time for the pressure to reach ambient pressure. So let's pray this never happens, obviously, but we don't want to just plan for those small little things that you guys already know how to clean up. We want to plan for what hopefully will never happen, I'll say. Okay? So thanks again, you guys,
I
for your...
do want to add in a
Please.
couple of questions before we go though, or just things that, if it's not in your guys' emergency plan, this is the last emergency plan I've ever gotten from Woodbridge, and it's dated 2012.
Yeah, we'll get you a new one.
I get your tier twos, I get your floor plans, but your actual emergency action plan, no one's updated with us.
That's not one of my elements, I'll get with it.
Yeah, so if
Who
somebody
is that?
here,
Who's telling us that, you know?
Emergency response plan, would have been Mark Stovey, so it's yours.
so I know in this one, I had looked at it before I came, and I know from 2012 to now, there's a lot of things that changed. So I don't know in your current one if you guys cover these things, but if you don't, these are things that I tell our factory industries and facilities to start thinking about. So if you have a situation like this, I do not know what your social media policy is, but I'm gonna tell you one thing we found out very quickly. Board employees jump on social media. They're now photographing, they're messaging, and they're pushing out on their personal Facebook page, hey, tire didn't spill at work, I guess gotta sit in the parking lot. I don't know what your thing is, but you will ignite panic in the community. So I don't know what your policy, if you currently have one in there, if you don't, you might wanna think about that. In addition, if you want to try to get around that and not be able to talk to your employees about what they can and can't do with their phones, have a designated PIO, a public information officer, where if a situation like this was to happen, they would immediately draft a press release. And if you send it to me, you push it out yourself, we'll have it on 13 social media channels, the news stations, the radio stations, and in the newspaper before you can vote. And in my experience, the more you can be proactive and get out ahead of it, the better it's gonna be, because if not, on the back end, you're gonna have everybody that is, and I kid you not, within a 5-mile radius that lives around here. is gonna start complaining of health issues. I mean, and not that I get, but there's no reason, you know what I mean? Like when we all understand that when your containment area for your hot zone is only 50 meters, but, you know, Joe that lives right down here beside my hazmat building doesn't know that, and Joe wants to make a big stink out of it, it's a problem. So the quicker you guys can get ahead of it, the way better it'll be for you as a facility on just the amount of garage you were gonna take from that. The other thing is when we start talking about a spill on site at a facility that potentially has an evacuation component within your emergency plan, if you do not have it indicated in your plan how long you'll allow that to go on, I would suggest you maybe talk about that with your leadership group. How long will you allow people to be evacuated before you start just sending them home? And the reason I say that is when you look at your facility, you look at the scenario that was derived for you, there's not, and even I drove into the far entrance today because I wanted to see before we came in how much space and parking availability was out there, because fire trucks, their equipment is big, EMS, their equipment is big, and then you've got me coming, and you've got EPA coming, and you potentially have a contract cleaner spill company coming. We're gonna start taking up a lot of space and parking, that's gonna then require law enforcement to be out on Graham doing traffic and access control, allowing people in and out, because there's gonna be so many pieces of apparatus. If you're going to want your people to get out, and if it's going to be a long duration, you guys have to make that call though. What is that? Is it 2 hours evacuation sitting in their car and then you pull the trigger? And then if so, if that is, what happens, I don't know when you flip shifts, but if it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, what happens if this happens at 2? Or if you decide, okay, we're gonna push over into second shift now you got first shift trying to leave, you want second shift trying to come in, and how are you as a facility gonna handle that? Because it is not, we can't be out there moving apparatus and equipment to get it out and out of the way. Like, it's just, there's too many hands on that. So, I don't know if that's covered in your current emergency plan, but just if not, some food for thought on a on-site stuff.
I'm pretty sure it's updated, they just probably submit it to LEPC, so I'm not sure what that.
Yeah, we could talk about that some more, Adriano, too. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Let's all pray this never happens, okay? But we also want to be very prepared in the event that it does. So, thanks again. Thanks again for everything.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your input, your comments. Very, very helpful.
And I'm always right down the road, so if you ever need anything, call me.
Could we stay in here and do it? Okay, go greet them, please. But could we stay in here for about another 40 minutes and then we'll take a break? Is that okay?
Sounds good.
And then we'll take a break and then we'll do it outside.
Oh, thanks. Absolutely.
Thank you.